They thought they could outsmart airport security, but they couldn't have been more wrong. Some underground operators came up with plans so bizarre and outlandish, even the most seasoned officers were left in disbelief. These are the kinds of stories that rarely see the light of day until now. Stay tuned for the strangest things ever caught at airport security. At Kochi Airport, an Air India cabin crew member was arrested on March 8th for transporting 1,487 grams of gold. Officials had received a tip-off that Shafi, a crew member on the Bahrain-Kozhikode Kochi route, was attempting to sneak gold past customs. His clever disguise: wrapping the gold around his hands and concealing it under his shirt sleeves, hoping to slip through the green channel unnoticed. But customs officers were already watching. As he attempted to walk past undetected, authorities swooped in, exposing his failed golden gamble. What should have been a routine flight home turned into an arrest that landed him in deep trouble. Caught red-handed. Airports see all kinds of travelers, but back in 2023, Indian Air Force security caught a man with a leg injury, or so it seemed. His leg was wrapped in plaster, and at first glance, he looked like just another unlucky passenger. But something felt off. Officers decided to check, peeling back the layers. What they found wasn't medical support. It was pure gold, carefully molded around his leg. Caught red-handed, the man gave the most ridiculous excuse. He had no idea how it got there. Yeah, right. These culprits keep getting creative, but security keeps getting sharper. This injury turned out to be the most expensive plaster in history, and a one-way ticket to trouble. The walking iPhone store? Hong Kong customs officers had seen all kinds of stealthy attempts, but this one was hard to miss. A man walked through security looking stiff, almost robotic. Turns out he wasn't just nervous. He was taped head to toe with 94 iPhones. The devices were strapped across his body, turning him into a high-tech mummy. His plan? Sneak them into China, where iPhones cost more, and sell them on the black market. But security quickly spotted his unnatural movements and pulled him aside. Carrying all that tech didn't make him a genius. It made him an easy catch. Suitcase stowaway. People go to great lengths for travel deals, but this one takes the cake. A man was caught inside a suitcase, attempting to sneak himself into Switzerland via train. Customs officials grew suspicious of a strangely shaped bag and decided to take a closer look. What they found was shocking. A fully grown man curled up inside, hoping to cross the border unnoticed. Unfortunately for him, the plan didn't go as expected. Instead of a Swiss getaway, he got a free trip straight into custody. Some people transport gold, others gadgets. This guy tried to sneak himself. Golden steps. At Bengaluru Airport, customs officials came across a passenger arriving from Bangkok with a suspicious story. He claimed to be traveling for medical treatment, but when asked for documents, he had none. That alone was enough to raise eyebrows. Officers decided to check his belongings, and that's when things took a turn. His slippers, ordinary at first glance, felt heavier than they should. A closer inspection revealed gold strips hidden inside the soles, totaling 1.2 kilograms and worth a staggering R69 lock. They keep coming up with clever tricks, but security is always one step ahead. What was meant to be a smooth landing turned into a hard fall for this traveler. Sweet disguise. On January 9th, 2023, a passenger at Kolkata Airport had a suitcase filled with candy, over 1,000 pieces to be exact. Customs officers knew something wasn't right. Nobody carries that much candy to Bangkok. They opened a few, and instead of sugary treats, they found tiny plastic bags stuffed with US dollars. The sneak thief thought he had outsmarted the system, but customs had seen it all before. Instead of landing in Bangkok, he landed in custody. It was a clever plan, but even the sweetest disguises can't fool sharp-eyed security. Mattress mirage. At the Spanish border, customs officers stumbled upon what might be the strangest unboxing ever. Two mattresses, looking a little too lumpy, raised some eyebrows. A closer inspection revealed the truth. Hidden inside were two men, curled up in hollowed-out styrofoam compartments, hoping to sneak into Europe from North Africa. It was a bold, desperate plan, but the border police weren't fooled. Instead of a new life in Spain, the men's journey ended with bars instead of freedom. The mattresses were unloaded, and so were their dreams, sent back as quietly as they tried to arrive. Some escapes are just too thinly padded to succeed. Dead weight. Of all the things to roll through an airport x-ray, this one had people doing a double take. Security at Atlanta's airport stopped in their tracks when a life-sized corpse showed up on their conveyor belt. Turns out it wasn't a real body, just a terrifyingly realistic prop from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Still, rules are rules, so the TSA ran it through their scanners, while passengers watched in stunned silence. The agency later called it one of the weirdest items ever screened. At least this traveler wasn't breaking any rules, though good luck convincing the person sitting next to them that everything was fine. Bobtail lizards. Two Japanese men thought they had a slick exit plan at Perth International Airport until border agents took a closer look. Hidden inside their luggage were 13 bobtail lizards, a highly sought-after species in the exotic pet trade, fetching up to $10,000 each. The 51-year-old was caught with a suitcase full of the scaly contraband, while his 28-year-old partner was identified as the collector. Their plan was to illegally transport the lizards out on separate flights, one to Kuala Lumpur, the other to Singapore. But instead of a payday, both men landed in court, where they were convicted and sentenced to jail.
And we were discussing what areas you thought some of these could be from. You said this one maybe.
Smoke scam. Airport security had seen it all, but this one had a twist. A passenger's suspiciously overstuffed bag caught the attention of customs officers. When they checked, they found far more than the legal allowance of 200 cigarettes. At first, the man claimed he was just a traveler on holiday, but his story started crumbling fast.
Are you here on holiday or are you working?
Yes, I'm on holiday.
On holiday?
Yeah.
The real kicker, well, he actually worked for the airlines, making his attempt even more audacious. With authorities keeping a close watch on these kinds of schemes, his little side hustle turned into a major misstep. Instead of slipping past security, he walked straight into trouble. Turtle trafficker.
Malaysian authorities have seized more than 5,000 baby turtles discovered in the luggage of a passenger at the Kuala Lumpur airport.
In Malaysia, customs officers at Kuala Lumpur airport found something unsettling inside a passenger's suitcase. Over 5,000 baby turtles crammed into baskets. The two Indian individuals had arrived from China, planning to sell the turtles in India, but their plan was cut short when authorities swooped in. The tiny reptiles, worth nearly $12,700, were meant for the pet trade, but Malaysia has become a major transit point for illegal wildlife trafficking. Fortunately, the turtles were rescued and placed under proper care. As for the cube Prits, let's just say their journey took an unexpected detour, and it's not one they'll be escaping anytime soon. Skyline scheme. It started as just another flight, but this stewardess had more than just in-flight service on her mind. Shakul Shrestha, a Jet Airways flight attendant, was caught with nearly $500,000 in foreign currency, neatly wrapped in foil to slip past X-ray scanners. Her partner in crime, a 40-year-old mastermind, Amit Malhotra, running a full-blown sneaky network. The plan was simple: cash out, gold in, a silent exchange looping between India and Hong Kong. But security wasn't fooled. The foil came off, the money was exposed, and their operation crash-landed. With arrests piling up, one thing was clear: this was no ordinary turbulence. Fishy situation. Talk about a fishy situation. A woman arriving in Melbourne from Singapore had customs officials doing a double take, not because of her outfit, but because of the bizarre sounds coming from under her skirt. Officers grew suspicious when they heard faint flipping noises near her waist. Upon searching, they discovered a custom-made apron holding 51 live tropical fish, each packed into water-filled plastic bags. Officials have yet to determine the species, but if the fish carried diseases, they could wreak havoc on Australia's ecosystems. Now, the woman faces possible charges, a fine of over $83,000 and up to 10 years in prison. Safe to say, this was one stealthy attempt that wasn't going to swim past security. High-stake gamble.
This has been recovered from the Sudanese nationals. What else do we know about this case?
4 passengers, they were departing from Mumbai airport to Sharjah via Sharjah with a Air Arabia flight.
Mumbai airport just had one of its biggest cash busts. 4 Sudanese women were caught trying to transport a staggering Rs-136 crore worth of foreign currency out of India while boarding an Air Arabia flight to Sharjah. Their method? Stuffing the money inside body cavities, upper clothing, and even handbags. Customs officers grew suspicious due to their nervous behavior and, after a detailed search, uncovered a mix of US dollars and UAE dirhams. Following interrogation, all 4 women admitted to their illicit attempt and were promptly arrested. Authorities are now investigating whether this was part of a larger network. Looks like their high-stakes gamble didn't pay off.
The concealed amount was found in their body cavity and on the upper body, and some of the money was also found concealed in their handbag.
Gold chocolates. A couple at the airport had a sweet plan, literally. They carried a box of chocolates, which seemed normal enough. But airport security has a way of spotting things that don't add up. These chocolates felt off. Officers unwrapped one, and beneath the thin layer of chocolate was something far more valuable: pure gold bars. The couple had gone the extra mile, packaging the gold like a premium treat and even naming them gold chocolates. Clever, but not clever enough. Their golden sweets didn't make it past customs, and instead of flying off to their destination, they were grounded in a whole new way. Diamond dilemma. At Moscow airport, a Russian passenger tried to pull off a dazzling heist, literally. The 37-year-old man arrived from Dubai, strolling through the nothing-to-declare lane like he had nothing to hide. But customs officers weren't easily fooled. His nervous energy gave him away, and when they checked his bag, they found 26,000 diamonds tucked inside plastic bags. That was over $162,000 worth of sparkle. His excuse? Well, a lame one. He said was just doing a favor for a friend. Right, peddling diamonds through an airport wasn't exactly a casual favor. Whether he faced charges or not, one thing's for sure, his brilliant plan lost its shine real quick. The spider suitcase. Some folks really dig spiders, you know, but then there are others who are totally obsessed with them. This man sure was one of those. At Jorge Chavez International Airport in Lima, Peru, security stopped a man whose stomach looked unusually swollen. Turns out he wasn't hiding anything ordinary. He was strapped with 320 tarantulas, 110 centipedes, and 9 bullet ants. Each creepy crawler was sealed in Ziploc bags and wrapped around his body like some bizarre armor. The plan was to courier them out for collectors willing to pay big money. But instead of making a fortune, he got caught and now faces serious wildlife trafficking charges. The creatures thankfully were rescued, but that was one suitcase nobody would want to open. Serpent suitcase. Shanghai customs officers were in for a shock when a routine scan picked up some unusual movement inside a traveler's suitcase. The passenger, cool as ice, claimed they were just toy snakes. But when the officers unzipped the bag, out came 121 endangered ball pythons, each stuffed into black stockings and packed into plastic containers. These weren't souvenirs, they were part of a high-stakes underground operation. The snakes had been illegally transported from Seattle to Hong Kong and were en route to China. Instead of slithering past customs, the suspects ended up in police custody, and with the law on his tail, he could face a life sentence for wildlife trafficking. Feathered fraud. Airport security has dealt with some pretty weird illicit attempts, but live birds hidden in hair curlers? That's on a whole other level. A traveler passing through JFK International Airport thought they had the perfect cover, hiding 70 tiny finches inside hollowed out curlers. But here's the thing, birds weren't exactly quiet. The chirping tipped off agriculture specialists, leading to a shocking discovery. Authorities confiscated the finches and turned them over to the USDA. Whatever plan this man had was crushed instantly. Next time they might want to pick a quieter contraband, because when your cargo starts singing, your secret doesn't last long. Leech luggage.
There was a man traveling from Russia to Canada, and Canadian officials went through his luggage and they found 5,000 leeches.
If you thought snakes on a plane were bad, get ready for leeches in a suitcase. A man traveling from Russia to Canada got stopped at customs with a suitcase filled with 5,000 live leeches. Yes, 5,000. He claimed they were for his garden, but authorities weren't buying it. Turns out leeches sell for about $10 each, making this a high-stakes covert operation. These little parasites have medical value, but illegally transporting them without permits is a serious crime. Now, instead of making a fortune, the guy is facing charges in Toronto. Some gambles just aren't worth the bite. Feline fugitive.
He's very frightened, poor old cat, Koshka, and EasyJet doesn't like cats.
A woman traveling from Paris to Malaga had a rather unexpected travel companion, her beloved cat, Koska, hidden inside her hand luggage. Unfortunately, airport security wasn't fooled. When authorities discovered the feline stowaway, it triggered a quarantine scare, forcing the woman to return to France with her furry accomplice. While she may have thought sneaking Koska through would be a smooth ride, the rules were clear. No unauthorized pet travel. In the end, the cat was safe, the woman learned her lesson, and Koska's secret getaway was cut short before takeoff. Tiger in transit. Airports see their fair share of odd luggage, but Bangkok's international airport had an unforgettable surprise. An intoxicated tiger cub hidden inside a suitcase. The cub was nestled next to a stuffed toy tiger, an attempt to fool baggage scanners. When the overweight bag was flagged for X-ray, authorities were shocked to see a living creature inside. The woman, a Thai national, denied ownership, claiming someone asked her to carry it. If the bag had made it onto the flight to Iran, the cub's chances of survival would have been slim. Instead, it was rescued and sent to a wildlife conservation center. As for the culprits, she now faces up to 4 years in prison, a wild price to pay. Monkeys in the middle. At Delhi's IGI airport, a routine Sunday took a bizarre turn. 3 passengers from Dubai, Rashid, Mohammed, and Hamid, were acting strangely, prompting security to check their luggage. What they found was shocking. 2 tiny slow loris monkeys hidden in their clothes. These nocturnal primates, barely 7 inches tall, had been transported from Bangkok and were destined for Dubai, where they fetch insane prices on the black market. Before the culprits could make their getaway, CISF officers stepped in, rescuing the terrified creatures and handing them over to wildlife officials. The criminals busted. The monkeys safe. Just another day in the twisted world of wildlife trafficking. False alarm.
Have any money with you in your bag? Yes. And how much is in here?
1,500.
At Heathrow Airport, Kareem clutched his bag, his heart pounding. So yeah, inside was a large sum of cash, money he had painstakingly saved for his sick mother in Dubai. But when Border Force officers stopped him, the situation took a tense turn. Kareem claimed he had 1,500 pounds, but the reality was far more.
Tell us the truth. How much is this? You're not in any trouble.
Suspicious, the officers demanded proof, receipts, documents, anything. He explained, small jobs, loans, every penny meant for his mother. But doubt lingered. Hours dragged on, Kareem missed his flight. Finally, after an exhaustive check, the officers found no wrongdoing. They let him go, but with a warning, we're watching. Kareem walked away, still clutching his money, but feeling like a criminal for simply trying to do the right thing. Snakes in pants.
So you've all heard of the movie Snakes on a Plane. Well, one man tried to make it a reality.
Believe it or not, he tried to sneak them through security in his pants.
Miami TSA agents were in for a surprise when a man tried to sneak multiple live snakes through security, hidden in his pants. As he walked through the checkpoint, officers quickly noticed something wiggling under his clothing. Upon stopping him, they found a small bag tucked into his trousers, filled with slithering reptiles. Whether these were his pets or part of an illicit operation remains unclear, but one thing's for sure, this wasn't a slick move. Needless to say, his plan didn't fly. Next time someone wants to travel with their pets, they should probably stick to the legal route and buy tickets for them. Golden deception. It started with a single suitcase, but what lay inside cracked open one of the biggest shadowy scandals in India. Kerala airport authorities intercepted a diplomatic bag, one that should have been untouchable, but something felt off. Inside it was 30 kilograms of gold, tucked away like it was just another routine delivery. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Investigators dug deeper and found the same channel had been used at least a dozen times. The real number? A jaw-dropping 180 kilograms of gold transported right under everyone's noses. A web of diplomats, insiders, and middlemen all playing their part. But the game was over. The airport had captured what no one was supposed to see. Failed creativity. Underground operators really are some of the most clever folks out there. Their creativity is off the charts. It's pretty wild how they come up with such sneaky ways to break the law. Just check this out. Back in March 2015, Ukrainian customs officers noticed something off with some timbered trunks. When they took a closer look, they found out that those weren't just regular trunks. Nope, they were hollowed out and stuffed with 25000 packs of cigarettes, all set to be shipped to the UK and Germany. But before those trunks could make it to their destination, the authorities swooped in and caught them. Packed trouble. Some people go to extreme lengths for love, but this one takes the cake. Mariah Delmar Orhono, a pregnant 19-year-old, thought she had the ultimate escape plan for her husband, who was serving a 20-year sentence in a Tate Mall prison. During a conjugal visit, she packed up a large suitcase, acting like it was full of clothes. At first, no one questioned it, until she tried to roll it out. The bag was heavier than it should have been, and Maria looked nervous. Guards stopped her, unzipped the suitcase, and out popped her husband, stuffed inside in nothing but his socks and underwear. He went right back to his cell, and Maria, well, those conjugal visits were definitely over. Sneaking a cat. Prison sneak-in is nothing new, but this one had a real feline touch. Guards at a Brazilian prison noticed a stray cat trying to sneak in, but something felt off. When they got a closer look, they found the little guy strapped with a full load of contraband. Saws, drills, a headset, a memory card, batteries, a phone, and a charger. Someone had turned this cat into a four-legged delivery service, probably guiding it back to its owner inside. The problem? Cats don't snitch. With 263 inmates and no one talking, the prison was left with a mystery and one very confused cat. Got a bone to pick. Some people pack extra clothes, some bring souvenirs, and then there's this woman. Fresh off a flight from Kuala Lumpur, her luggage had security doing double takes. Tucked between everyday items were animal bones, strange charms, and even a small voodoo box. Officers weren't sure if they had a biosecurity risk or a supernatural one on their hands. With the help of a translator, it turned out the bones were part of her spiritual practice, aged over 5 years, harmless by security standards. No fines, no confiscations, but one officer couldn't help but ask if they'd just been cursed. Probably not, but hey, you never know. Stuffed with surprises. A passenger arriving in Chennai from Bangkok had a teddy bear in his bag. Cute, right? Except this teddy wasn't stuffed with cotton. It had a live baby monkey inside. And that wasn't even the wildest part. Hidden alongside were dozens of venomous snakes and a couple of tortoises, like some kind of illegal zoo in a bag. Authorities wasted no time deporting the animals back to Bangkok, but the passenger? Let's just say his next stop wasn't home. It was straight behind bars. Some souvenirs just aren't worth the trouble. What do you think about this creative-minded sneak? Wild carryon. That was one will carry on indeed. Customs officers at Chennai Airport have seen their fair share of suspicious luggage, but this one really slithered past expectations. A passenger arriving from Bangkok was flagged for routine inspection, claiming his 2 suitcases were packed with nothing but toys. But when officers popped them open, they found 50 baby ball pythons and a rare African squirrel staring back at them. No paperwork, no permits, just a bizarre attempt at an illegal wildlife shadow operation. Authorities detained the passenger for questioning, while forest officials checked the animal's health. The final verdict? The creatures got a flight back to Thailand, but their owner wasn't so lucky. Would be. That's one way to pack some extra sting for the journey. A Chinese national was caught red-handed at Sri Lanka's Bandara Naika International Airport trying to transport 200 live scorpions in his travel bag. His destination was Guangzhou, China, but customs officials weren't having it. Since carrying scorpions out of the country is strictly prohibited, authorities seized the creepy cargo and handed them over to the Department of Wildlife Conservation. As for the would-be sneakers, he was fined 100,000 rupees and is now under investigation. Safe to say, this trip didn't go quite as planned. Golden Wrap. Mumbai Airport Customs foiled a sneaky attempt when a passenger from Dubai tried to sneak in 24-karat gold foils disguised as chocolate toffees and hidden between shirt packaging. The haul, weighing 369.67 grams and worth Rs 18 to 89 lakh, was carefully packed but failed to outsmart airport scanners. The passenger's sweet trick quickly turned sour as customs officers unwrapped the scheme, leaving their golden escape plan completely melted. Glove boxed. Border police at the Spanish enclave of Melilla were in for a surprise when they found a man crammed inside a car's glove compartment attempting to cross from Morocco. The sheer size of the hiding spot made it nearly impossible for a full-grown person to fit, yet there he was, folded, squeezed, and desperate to make it across. Authorities released images of the bizarre discovery, proving just how far some will go in search of a new life. Fishy business. Authorities at Dibrugarh Airport made a massive bust, seizing 500 rare Chana barca fish, one of the most expensive aquatic species in the world. Valued at a staggering 40.5 million in the international market, these exotic snakeheads were being transported out of the region, likely destined for high-end aquariums. Native to the Brahmaputra Basin, their rarity has turned them into a prized possession for collectors. The Assam Forest Department's swift action had not only prevented illegal trade, but also safeguarded one of India's most elusive freshwater species. Foul play.
Declare it, and you have chosen to say you have no meat and no poultry, so you will be fined $340 today.
A student arriving in Australia from China found himself in hot water after customs officers discovered a cooked duck in his luggage. Despite having traveled to Australia 3 times before, he failed to declare the poultry, landing him a $340 fine. When confronted, he claimed he forgot, but officials weren't buying it. With strict biosecurity laws in place to protect against avian influenza and other diseases, there was no room for exceptions. To add insult to injury, the duck was confiscated and destroyed, a pricey lesson in travel do's and don'ts.
I cannot bring it into Australia, but still in $340 fine.
Suspicious cargo. At Sydney Airport, border officers stopped a woman arriving from Vietnam suspecting she was illicit substances. A routine checking on her unusually heavy rice paper package tested positive for pseudoephedrine, a key ingredient in meth production. Suitcase. Officers knew criminals often hid substances in food, so they dug deeper. Inside her suitcase, they found raw seafood, warm, unfrozen, and emitting a strong odor, a major biosecurity threat. But as they reached the bottom of the bag, the discovery took a darker turn. It wasn't just spoiled seafood anymore. Something far worse was hidden beneath. Whatever it was, this routine search had just escalated into something far more serious.
It's warm.
No.
Soap and gold. At Mangalore International Airport, customs officials intercepted a passenger attempting to transport gold granules worth $3,740 inside a bottle of chocolate syrup and 4 soap bars. The traveler, who had arrived on an Air India Express flight from Dubai, was promptly arrested after the unusual stash was uncovered. Meanwhile, at Tiruchirappalli International Airport in Tamil Nadu, a more elaborate scheme was foiled. These culprits hollowed out soap bars, packed them with gold pouches wrapped in black plastic, and resealed them to appear untouched. But airport officials weren't fooled. Over $50,000 worth of gold was seized, and yet another attempt lathered up in failure. Skybound. In a high-tech twist on prison sneak-in, a gang was caught on camera using drones to drop contraband worth £600,000 to £1 million into a UK prison. Craig Hickenbottom, the mastermind, orchestrated the entire operation from behind bars, earning himself an extra 7 years and 2 months in prison. Footage revealed 2 individuals sneaking to a fence, strapping a yellow bag to a drone using a fishing line and flying it over hedges into the prison yard. Inmates using improvised hooks reeled in everything from substances to phones and even a Freeview box. But authorities were watching, and the operation crashed hard. Hidden passenger. Border officers at Calexico Westport stopped an 18-year-old US citizen at 1 a.m. in a black Mitsubishi. She seemed to be traveling alone, but something felt off. A K9 team was brought in, and they quickly signaled suspicion. Upon inspection, officers found a hidden compartment under the backseat cushions, revealing a 48-year-old Mexican national attempting to cross illegally. The man was taken into custody, while the woman awaited criminal charges. CBP officials called it a dangerous and inhumane shadow attempt, emphasizing their mission to protect the American homeland from security threats. These individuals may get creative, but the law always catches up. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share in the comments and do like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again,